The new channel. The new channel. Hashtag TNC Now.
The views, opinions, and insights expressed in the following shows are those of the host, producers, guests, and viewers. They do not necessarily reflect the position of the channel. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to the new channel. Our passion transforms a community that sees all things new. I am ALPHA SANFORD and I'm streaming live from Boston, Massachusetts. Good morning, good evening, mabuhay. You're watching Once a Teacher, Always a Teacher here on the new channel. Hi everybody, it's ALPHA SANFORD again. Welcome back to Once a Teacher, Always a Teacher. And I'm glad that today you chose to be with us. So for today's episode, we will be conversing with a physical education and health teacher whose passion is really about helping students bring out the creativity and really mold the movement and the physical fitness of our students. I chose for him to be with us today because I thought there are only a few teachers who are like him in the field of education. And as you know, physical education, fitness, and health, along with wellness, is important in the whole being of our children. So let me introduce to you our guest for today. Our guest for today earned his Master of Arts in Physical Education. He was also awarded with the Outstanding Graduate Best Paper for his master's thesis and also concentrating on dance and musical. He also rendered dance number and beautiful performances at the Padarao Festival through the National Library of the Philippines. He is the head of the Physical Education and Health at the Senior High School for Bulan National High School in Bulan, Sorsogon. I met our teacher way back in 2016 when he came to Boston together with a group of nationally renowned educators from the Philippines and learn great practices here in Boston. So, without further ado, let me introduce to you and let's bring in Teacher Mark Lusuegro Tejada. Teacher Mark?
Hi, Miss A. Good day. So it's actually good morning here from in the Philippines. How are you?
I am great. How about you? How are
Well,
you?
I'm doing good. I'm feeling amazing, especially if I was invited here to guest your show. So this is an amazing job for me. A platform to show the world about the beauty of physical education.
That's great. And I'm so excited to be learning about your journey and also learning about the life of a phys ed teacher because not a lot of people truly understand what you do for our students and what you do on a regular basis in the classroom and also for the school. So let's start off with tell us what's new with you these days.
Well, of course, like what you have mentioned earlier, I'm a fresh graduate of Master of Arts in Physical Education. So I
Yeah,
graduated December 21.
nice.
And
Congratulations.
thank you so much, Ms. A. And I am now the subject group head in Physical Education and Health Group here in our school, in senior high school, in Bulan National High School. And guess what, Miss A?
What is it?
August 26th, I got the master teacher one position. So I got promoted.
Wow, wow, that's a big deal, Teacher Mark. Congratulations. So,
Thank you, Miss A.
yeah, it's like two things, two accomplishments you've done. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So, all right. I know I've met you in 2016, but for our viewers who don't know you, can you share with us your journey in the education field? Like, how did you end up in this path of education? Take us to where you started and share with us your journey in the education field.
Yeah, actually, Miss, I was exposed to kind of an environment where I was surrounded by many educators. So when I took my college year, so I preferably chose physical education because I would like to be in the field of education. And right after graduation, after 2006, I was absorbed by our university where I graduated. So I graduated April and I started April 15 in
Okay.
2006. So it was just
Wow.
like 10 days after the graduation, I was hired by the University of Santo Tomas of Legazpi. So that was where I started teaching physical education and dance because I was the assistant coordinator for a special program in the arts. A special
Mhm.
program in the arts, this is a kind of curriculum where we teach dance, voice, music, visual arts. So
Mm.
after 4 years, I went back to my hometown. So I think it's time for me to serve my hometown. So
Wow.
I taught in Bulan National High School. I was a junior high school teacher then. I started teacher one. And after five
Mm.
years, I transferred to senior high school. And I got also the promotion of becoming a teacher three. And
Okay.
after 5 years again, it's parang sabi ko, parang swerte ata tong 5 years. So after 5 years, I got the promotion. I was promoted to Master Teacher 1. And now I am serving as a subject group head for physical education and health. So along the journey, Miss A, of course, in the public and private school, there are
Mhm.
negatives and there are positives. But since I am a very optimistic person, I am so grateful that I met a lot of educators, a lot of persons, of people who supported me, who molded me, who
Mm.
mentored me in the field of education. Because life in the public school is not so easy.
Right.
Of course,
Mhm.
it's always a roller coaster ride. But what's good thing
Mhm.
about myself is I know how to hoist myself up and to know when to start
Mhm.
again and to get back on your feet. So that's why I continue. I studied my master's degree so that I know that if you equip yourself with the right amount of knowledge, or
Mhm.
if you equip yourself with the thing that you would like the learners to learn about, so that is when I pushed through with my master's. So here I am, a fresh graduate of Master of Arts, and I am very much positive about entering with my PhD degree sometime in October or sometime in January.
Oh my gosh. So pretty soon, Teacher Mark, I may be calling you Dr. Mark Tejada. Ooh, I like the sound of that.
Praying.
I really like the sound of that. So, wow. So it seems like your journey has been almost like straightforward. You really wanted this in the beginning, and then you just kept on moving forward. And you know what I love about it? I love that you actually chose to go back and serve your hometown. That is a true public servant. So, for that, saludo ako sa'yo, Teacher Mark.
Salamat, Miss A.
Yeah. All right. So, being a phys ed teacher or physical education teacher, share with us, define what is that looking like in the context of the Philippines educational curriculum.
All right, Miss A. So in senior high school, our physical education and health are divided into 4 topics. So since in senior high school, we have grades 11 and 12. So the grade 11 is under the Hope 1 because meron kami ditong Hope 1 or the Health Optimizing Physical Education. So they are taking Hope 1 and Hope 2. So Hope 1, it's all about exercise for fitness. It's all about the aerobic training, the muscle and bone strengthening, the resistance training. So the Zumba, ayan, napapasok na dyan.
Ooh, I love
And yes, hopefully I can, teach you some moves in Zumba. And
Yes.
in Hope 2, that is for second semester for grade 11. In Hope 2, this is now the sports. So we are teaching the individual, the dual, and team sports. But you know what, Miss A, I love to contextualize the discussions in individual and team sports. So not just teaching about the basketball or the volleyball or the games originated in the Western or some part of the country. We are also teaching them the laro ng lahi or the Filipino games, the Filipino traditional games, so that we can contextualize the discussions, because I think the learners best learn if they are familiar or if they can relate with the subject matter. So that's what I am, introducing to my teachers about how to contextualize discussion. So in grade 12, we also have the Hope 3.
Okay.
The Hope 3, it's all about the dances. Ayan, the dances, the festival dance, the cheer dance, the modern and then the contemporary dance. We have also the hip hop. And Hope 4, this is for second semester for grade 12. We are now on the recreational activities, the mountaineering, the hiking, the orienteering. So those are the topics that we are teaching in physical and education and health in the Philippine curriculum.
Wow, that's exciting. I remember when I was first year in college, I had to take a phys ed class and I chose orienteering and mountain climbing. So I am glad to hear that Hope 4 covers similar to my experiences when I was, in college. That's great.
Yeah,
That's
thank you. But
wonderful. Yeah.
by the way, Miss A, grade 12, the time that we are taking the recreational activities, again, we are contextualizing the topic because these students are, not permitted to go on the mountains since there are many. You know what, Miss A, in a public setting, we have many students. And I think the large group is composed of 70 students.
Oh, 70. Wow.
Yes. Yeah. So we have to contextualize, and we are using our facilities. We are using our place to, just to think that they're on a mountaineering or orienteering. So it's some kind of fun. I think they have the concepts of what it looks like to climb, what it looks like to orienteering. So some kind of that.
Oh, I see. So, in a given course, how many minutes per week, or is that how it is over there? So how
Yes.
many minutes per week do you teach your students? Hope 1,
Yeah.
Hope 2, all of those. Tell us about that.
Pre-pandemic, Hope One is we are given like 20 hours in one semester, I guess, in 20 hours, yeah, 20 hours in one semester. So since in one semester, we have the Hope One and Hope Two. So therefore, these 20 hours is divided into two. So per semester, we have 10 hours. 10 hours. So we are meeting once in a week. But you know what, Miss A, during the pandemic, we are meeting them once in a month, especially that the face-to-face classes are just started. So we are meeting them once in a month. So we are under some kind of blended learning. So we are meeting them once in a month. Then after the meeting, we are giving them the modules for them to study at home. At least they have home-based activities. You know, it's very difficult also to put the context of physical education at home because this requires a lot of physical assistance, of course, a supervision. How can you put the values of teaching physical education at home? So this is very challenging. Yes, Miss A. So we are trying to find new things about or could be creative in teaching physical education, even at the comforts of home. That's why last year I've created a Project Viper. I called it the Project Viper. Viper stands for the virtual implementation of physical education and recreation. So it's a virtual implementation. So every now and then, every Friday, we are teaching them the chair workout or the so-called sentao.
Okay.
And then in their module, they have to come up with a monthly physical activities, and we are instructing them to let their family members, to their neighbors, to join in the activities, because physical education, I believe that physical education should be for all. Kasi diba, if you are engaging yourselves in physical activities, not just to overcome or to be resistant in the virus, but also to be proactive. Because this is where your mood is affected, your decision making, your mood for the day, your totality, your holistic approach is being also addressed.
Wow, that's a great idea and a great project, especially during the pandemic.
Yes, Miss A. And we've heard a lot of feedback from the students, from the teachers, and not just pala the students, if I may add, because since we are meeting with the teachers like in work from home basis, we have the regular attendance also from the school. So every now that we are at school, we are also including the teachers, to be participative in our activity because they are teaching also students and they have also to be proactive. That's why.
Yeah, that's good. I heard a lot of things that I've never heard of from you before, such as Laro ng Lahi. Let's go back to that. When you said Laro ng Lahi, what are those games? And Laro, to our non-Filipino speakers, it means games.
Yes.
Laro ng Lahi.
Ng
Yeah, tell
lahi.
us about that. What are the games that you teach?
Traditional games or the Filipino traditional games, we are teaching, ma'am, only few from them. So we have the kadang. You have the
Okay, I don't know
kadang,
about that. What is that,
the
Skadang?
kadang, you have the two bamboo pieces, and then parang you are walking, and we're teaching
Oh,
them.
okay. Now I
Yeah, the
remember.
kind of
Yes.
kadang, and we also have sipa or ano ba yung term namin dito? I mean in Bicol, sure, we call that katchoy, or in Filipino we call that sipa.
Sipa.
So,
Okay, yeah.
yes, and we also have the sack race, the typical sack race.
Okay.
Yeah, so
That's part of the
those are
curriculum, huh?
yeah, those are
Oh,
just the few traditional Filipino games that we are introducing to them. Because
okay.
after all, Miss A, I think recreation is all about fun. It's all about breaking the monotony of academic stresses. So that's why we are introducing some kind of Filipino traditional games, and at the same time be oriented that there are still a lot of Filipino traditional games that are existing. So I think in that some way we are still preserving or trying to make it a repository about traditional games.
Yeah, I really love that. It's really going back to our roots and making sure that the next generation remember the traditional games that only we have. So that's great. That's great.
Thank you, Miss A.
Yeah.
Actually, it was really, students are enjoying playing that games.
Yes, I can imagine. It's relatable. It's close to their heart. And my understanding, if if my memory still recalls me, with kadang, you're using the bamboo, so you're using the natural resources within the area. So you really don't have to buy like other equipment that you may need to get outside of the area. And then with SIPA, very simple one, right? I believe when we used to play SIPA, what we would used to do is we would use the tansan, or the cover of the cap of the the cola bottles, right? The soft drinks, and we would flatten them and then put a hole in the
Yeah.
middle, and then put like a candy wrapper, and there you go. We have the SIPA ball. So
Yeah,
I
same with
know
us.
people do that right now.
Yes, we are also doing that actually. Exactly, Miss A, that what we are doing in here. So same thing that
Great.
you did when you were in your elementary year.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
great. So it really lends the cultural aspect, the cultural preservation of the Filipino traditional games. It lends in terms of more environmentally conscious and really using the local resources. I love it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, Teacher Mark. Let's talk about um, your path in becoming a phys ed teacher. Technically, when I say technically, like the licensure, how did you become a phys ed teacher? Because some of our viewers may not really have any idea how to become a phys ed teacher. So let's start with that. What are the things that they need to do, the licensure that they need to have in order for them to become a phys ed teacher?
Okay. But I guess before the licensure exam, Miss A, I think what they really need is, a physical endurance.
Okay.
Because,
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
physical,
Yeah.
physical endurance, mental agility, emotional resiliency.
Mm,
Because
mhm,
physical education,
mhm,
aside from, teaching physical activities, you yourself shall set the example. I
mhm.
mean, the students can build trust if you yourself can execute the exercise from light to moderate to vigorous. So those are the prerequisites in becoming a physical education teacher. And
Yeah.
how about the licensure? Actually, Miss A, since I graduated cum laude, I already have my professional, how do you call that? Professional, not a license, because under the Civil Service Commission, we have the PD
Okay.
907, Presidential Decree 907, that whoever graduated with honors will be
Mhm.
exempted from the yes, ng career eligibility.
Okay. Right.
Yeah. So yeah, but then I have to also to take licensure examination for teachers.
Mhm,
And you know what's funny about Miss A,
mhm.
when I applied the for an examination for licensure examination for teachers, and then I asked the cashier, so, hey ma'am, what's next? Because I don't know where to go. Sabi sa
Yes.
akin. And then she said, you don't have to go back in PRC. Sabi ko,
Okay.
why? Because you need to pass and you are going to pass. So,
Oh, that's
all right. Sabi ko,
great.
okay, such a high hope. Sabi ko, sige. And then, before the licensure examination, because as far as I can remember, I took the exam August 27,
Mm,
2006. So I was already teaching then. So before taking the
mm.
exam, I was already
Okay.
teaching. And what's good about, teaching prior to the exam, because there's some kind of refresher course. And parang you are already reviewing in the context of teaching, learning process.
Okay.
So I took the licensure exam on August 27, and fortunately I passed the exam. So
Nice.
that is where I got my licensure examination for teachers in teaching physical education. But the real tests of becoming physical education teacher is when you are in already teaching, or in the context of teaching learning process, because
Mhm.
that is where what you have learned from your seminars, from college days, from your education, are now coming into reality. So that is where the journey of physical education starts. So of course
Mhm.
I taught high school. Wala pa nung K to 12 curriculum. So I was teaching fourth year high school. So I was teaching physical fitness activities and then being transferred to public high school. So there is a huge transition, Miss A, when it comes to, of course, facilities and equipment. Since I came from private school, so, you know, the perks of teaching in private school. We are provided with a lot of equipments and physical activities materials. So when I transferred in public school, so I got first culture shock. I experienced culture shock. But then again, being a physical education teacher, as I have said earlier, you need to have mental agility. And part of, you know, having a mental agility is how are you going to make the most of the resources that you have in public school. And that is where the idea of contextualization took place. So doon ako nag-umpisa. So I was just starting, of course, as a teacher one, and you know, there's nothing wrong, I guess, in asking to the superiors about what to do. So
Right.
what's good about being Miss A, if you are not so about self-centered individual, is that you're open to comments, to suggestions, and the things that you need to improve in physical education. Because in public, there should be like a uniform discussion, kumbaga universal way of delivering the instruction or the curriculum or materializing the curriculum. So I kept on asking my superiors, you know, I kept on asking my superiors, Mom, what should I do this? I also started from, you know, from zero. And I am proud of that, Miss A, because I started from zero. And I think every day I am learning, every day I'm developing. And, you know, teaching physical education during your first year is always a trial and error. I had also committed lots of mistakes, you know, about the concepts. But then again, if you learn from your mistakes, that makes you stronger, physical
That's right.
education stronger, physical education teacher. So yun, until such time that then I transferred to senior high school, the way of, I mean, the idea of asking question never stops. I kept on asking, you know, I kept on asking and asking because I have to make sure that I am teaching the right competency in physical education.
That's
And
true.
you know what's a good thing about is when I asked those superiors, I tried to, you know, to compare the idea of the Gen Z of the new
Yes.
generation and then the traditional concept in teaching physical education. And I tried to incorporate those two. I am mixing it up, and you know, I am trying to experiment new things in teaching physical education, and that the students loved it. They learned concepts of physical education the easiest way. Kasi Miss A, in public school, it's a heterogeneous composition of students.
That's
Not,
true.
yes. So
Yeah.
not all of them are, you know, having the same face. Some of them are advanced, some of them are a little late. But, you know, I always believe that these students should develop a lifelong love for physical educations, because during my high school days, Miss A, I also experienced that we were putting aside physical educations because we've been used to PE lang yan, ganito lang yan.
Yes.
Yeah, so when I became a physical education teacher, sabi ko, I make sure that the students will not utter the same line that we used to. So sabi ko, I have to try to elevate the physical education in my teaching and learning process. So yun ang naging idea ko. That's why I was trying to do a lot of things, experimenting, creating new ideas. So for those who are, you know, getting the physical education degree, just make sure that you are open for suggestions. You have the ability to be flexible, to be versatile in teaching, and at the same time with your attitude and disposition in teaching. Because, you know, our attitudes and our behaviors can put us in the right perspective if we are open to comments and suggestions, and if we want to improve ourselves.
Wow. So take note, mga viewers. The viewers, please take note of what Teacher Mark had mentioned. The real test of a phys ed teacher really happens in the classroom. And what's important later on is your disposition, right? So we got to remember that. Thank you, Teacher Mark, for giving us not just like the technical pathway in getting your licensure to become a phys ed teacher in the Philippines, but the real skill and the preparation of becoming a competent phys ed teacher. I love it.
Thank you, Miss
So,
A.
yeah, you're welcome. Let's talk about naman with regards to some benefits of being a phys ed teacher at a national public high school. Can you share with us, if you are okay to share, like the pay range? How does it look like if you're a teacher one, teacher two, three, and going up the ladder? So yeah, share with us in terms of that.
Oh, yes, ma'am. The benefits of physical education teachers. So,
Mm-hmm.
of course, since we are indulge ourselves in the physical activities, ayan na yung mga, mga physical benefits like uh, we became physically fit individuals.
Yes.
We overcome such strenuous activities.
Mhm.
Actually, physical education teacher Miss A are the happy persons. We consider
Oh,
ourselves as the happy persons because,
yeah,
of
yeah.
course, you sh- of definitely if you are going to teach physical education, you shouldn't be like sobbing in tears or cry or making drama. You should be happy because physical education, should come from within. Apart from, the being proactive or um not so getting much from the stress of the work because we've been used to a lot of stresses. So physical activity stress,
Mm.
kung sanay na kami dyan, hasang-hasa na kami dyan, Miss A, when it comes to physical stresses. And what's good about that is physical education develop you to become holistically well. Like physical education doesn't just improve your physical well-being. So with your mental well-being, because part of the components of physical components, one of it is the reaction time. And reaction time, it's all about the deciding what you're going to do in a particular situations, because we are also training our perceptual skills. So when we talk about our perceptual skills, it's all about extracting some actions or some decisions that are not so pertinent and that's in the current situation. Like say for instance, if and since we don't have the gymnasium before, so we are practicing our perceptual skills. Where are we going to take to come up with the physical education classes? Where are we going um, to to dance, to run? So no, if you have the perceptual skills, you'll be able also to look for some alternatives, to materialize the class or just to just teach the students in an hour. And then we're also being trained about how to use our cognitive skills. So,
Okay. Yes, of course.
yes, our cognitive skills, it's all about, how to read, of course, definitely how to write. And as a physical education, you don't just need to be physically adept. You also need to
Mm-hmm.
have your cognitive skills because like say for instance in teaching volleyball you need first to teach the technicalities,
Mm-hmm.
the history, the basic rules, the
Right.
functions of the persons behind volleyball. So you need also to come up with a good cognitive skill, and that is a
Mm-hmm.
one thing about one of the benefits that we are having because we've been trained to getting these two skills, the cognitive and then the perceptual skills, and of course the motor skills. Let me say,
That's
uh,
right.
yeah. So we all know the stages of motor development. We have the elementary, we have the initial, and then the transitional. So if we are able to understand these stages of motor development, it helps us also to assess, where the students at in terms of the motor skills development. So we
Mm.
are trying also to differentiate our instructions, so we physical education teachers are very creative in terms of applying or
Mm-hmm.
realizing some teaching strategies in teaching physical education. So,
Mm.
and of course,
Yeah.
sabi ko nga Miss Isa, sa mga teachers ko, as a physical education teacher, you should set an example. No,
Right.
bulging of tummy. I
Oh
always
my
set them.
gosh.
Okay, you must set a good example because the generation now, Miss A, is very different.
Yes.
Sometimes your credibility lies within your physique.
Right.
And of course, your skills. So if you are, how shall I say this? So if you are not a physically fit individual, sometimes the students will not believe in you if you're a physical education teacher. So as a physical education teacher, you should take care of your body. You should take care of your body. Your mental health also should be put into
Teacher Mark,
consideration.
hold on for a second, because this is really going to be a wonderful discussion, but I want to make sure that we have mag-break muna tayo, and then when we come back, let's roll into how we can maintain this physique and a good physical well-being. So hold on to that, and we'll be back in 5 minutes. All right? All righty.
Juan Lu and his puppets face to face. With special guests, Makata Tawanan, Jess Box, and the Lunaria Marionette Show.
Alam mo, Nicolò, kung wala ako, hindi ka magsasalita. Alam mo, Tito Anlo, kung wala ako, nagsasalita ka nag-isa. Kung wala ako, wala kang masusuot. Kung wala ako, wala kang nakakain.
October 30, Sunday, 7 p.m. at the La Verdad Auditorium in Apalit, Pampanga. Buy your tickets now and see you soon, face to face.
The new channel is an online new media platform of online shows for people on the go. Please watch all our shows as seen on screen. Imagine having your own show, your own playlist, your own content, but we make it easier for you. TNC aims to transform the lives of our viewers through engaging, authentic, and original content. Our channel is a responsible, global 24/7 platform that showcases Filipino talent, global influencers, cultural intelligence, and ingenuity. Please continue to watch Once a Teacher, Always a Teacher on selected Saturdays at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can watch live or on replay via Facebook or YouTube. You can also follow us on Instagram, listen to us on Spotify and Apple Podcast. Just search hashtag TNC Now. For sponsorships, please email now at thenewchannel.com or send us a DM. Enjoy these life-changing shows because we made them for you. All right, folks, welcome back. I hope that you are enjoying this wonderful and engaging conversation from teacher Mark Tejada. I don't know about you, but just listening to him makes me happy and makes me really want to move and really get in the groove of being a phys ed teacher. So I am so glad that I am learning a lot of these things that our phys ed teachers are doing, especially in the Philippines. So I think let's continue this conversation and let's learn more from him. And this time, we're going to focus on what are the things that are really happening on a daily basis in his classroom. So, Teacher Mark?
Yes, Miss A. Hello.
Hi, welcome
Hello.
back.
Yes.
Yeah, welcome
We're enjoying
back.
the talk.
I am loving it. You just seem to radiate with a lot of happiness. And you're right. Visit teachers should be happy, should be agile, should be able to really motivate students and even the faculty members to get moving, get physical, looking more fit and things like that, right? So,
Yes.
oh my gosh. And you embody that. I can feel the energy. I can feel your energy. And I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go to do sipa here or the kadang or,
The kadang. I hope I see you, Miss A, playing with the kadang. I can teach you when I get there in Boston.
sure, why not? All right. So, what do we talk about this time? Your typical day in your classroom.
All
Okay,
right.
tell us, yeah, how many caseload do you have? How many students do you have? And all of those fun things.
Okay, so promise me you will not be shocked about, what I'm going to say about the
Okay, I'll promise.
caseload and the number of students. All
I'll
right, Miss
promise.
A. Well, I will walk you through to our land area first so that you will have an idea of how big our school is. So
Okay.
actually, our land area is 23,929 square meters. So
Okay.
that is our land area. And with regards to students, actually both junior high school and senior high school, we have 5,435 students.
Oh, wow.
All right. So in senior high school, we are 2,496 students in
Okay.
senior high school. So my caseload, actually, we physical education teachers are, the teacher who have the most number of loads in our school because we are teaching aside from physical and education and health, we are also teaching personal development in grade 12. So actually, I have 15 loads, 15
Wow.
loads
Okay.
plus one coordinatorship because as I have mentioned, I am the subject group head. So the typical day, I have 500 plus students because per classroom has 35 students because that is under the IATF guidelines here in the Philippines that there should only be a maximum of 35 students per classroom. So I have since I have 15 classes, so I have 500 plus students. So the typical day, of course, usually what we do in the morning is at 7 o'clock, we have the flag raising ceremony. So it is a scheduled flag raising ceremony because every month each department is assigned to conduct the flag raising ceremony. So we physical education teachers, of course, we were assigned last month, August. So we made sure that the students are standing in line. We are trying to also introduce them the Galaw Pilipinas, because we have also the memorandum about that, to introduce Galaw Pilipinas in the curriculum or every flag raising ceremony. Actually, next week we are going to teach the students the Galaw Pilipinas. Galaw Pilipinas is a calisthenics dance. This includes different steps from different games like arnis, and also different steps from the festival like sinulog. So that is the Galaw Pilipinas. So we are teaching them we are dancing that every flag raising ceremony every Monday.
Nice.
So yes, Miss A. So the typical day, since we are also bombarded with loads, but we are happy, Miss A, teaching the students, particularly if you see them ngayon na parang it's a new to them because they are now in the new normal setting. For every one of them is excited to learn physical activities, and they are very motivated to learn. And I am very thankful about that, because I also monitored some of the classes in physical education, and I witnessed that the physical education teachers are very enthusiastic in teaching physical education. They are very motivated. And you know what's good about that, Miss A? If the teacher shows motivation, it will transpire from the students.
Correct.
So the attitude will be adapted by the students. So
Correct.
that's why I, as far as I have mentioned earlier, that physical education teachers should be physically fit, so that they will serve as the model in teaching the physical education. Because some students will say, ay, gusto ko parehas ni ma'am, sexy, ayan, magandang katawan. You can hear a lot of those from the students, and that is very realistic. And you can see a lot of comments. Wow, ang galing ni ma'am sumayaw, wow, ang galing ni ma'am magturo, ay, ang sexy ni ma'am, ay, ang ganda ang gwapo ni sir, ganito ang ganda ng katawan. So, based from the words, if you're trying to analyze these comments, so meaning these are the ideal physical education teachers that these students wanted from their physical education teachers. So incorporate namin. We have also to be reflective, and take these comments seriously. Because after all, if the students didn't meet the standards that they are looking for, perhaps they can be motivated or, not put interest much in the physical education classes. So that's the typical day that I'm doing. I also mentored some of the teachers if they are asking about how to do this, parang ako nun, I see my old self from them that they kept on asking. So parang naiisip ko, Miss A, am I at the right place to mentor them? Have I accumulated all the experiences to give them what they needed? So sometimes I also try to be reflective and also analyze what I have gone through. And until now, Miss A, to be honest, I also kept on asking from my superiors, from those who are into physical education, so that there could be an adapting of culture. What are the best practices that we can adapt from the other schools? So I tried also to incorporate that in our teaching. So that's it. That's the typical day. Aside from the scourging hit, because in the public school we've been used to that.
Yeah.
Actually, our school is divided into 3 countries. We have the Pilipinas. You can see the classrooms are like the Nipa, or the setting are just like the Philippines. And we also have the Dubai. The Dubai, pag sinabi namin, when we talk about where is your class? At the Dubai campus or at Dubai. Kasi the Dubai it's very hot. We don't have any. Yes, it's true. That's why we've been laughing most of the time, and sometimes we ignore the hit because we enjoyed walking, and we also have the Bahamas. From the word itself, Bahamas, palaging baha. Miss A, so
Oh my
the
God.
Bahamas. And you know what? Aside from that, even though that we are, sabi nga nila, when it rains, it pours and it
Yeah.
floods.
Yes.
sa amin, and it floods. So, but we are happy about that. So even though, our shoes are full of mud, we
Uh-huh.
continue to teach. We still have the drive to teach. So,
I love
you
it.
know,
Yeah.
that's our typical day. So when it's summer,
Yeah. Mhm.
we try to experience Dubai. And when it's, cold
When it's the
season,
rainy season.
rainy season, we are enjoying the Bahamas.
Well, this is really so funny. But on the other hand, it looks like you have a very interesting school. And someday, I would love to go and visit Bulan and the province of Sorsogon. I have never been in Sorsogon. So one of these days, I'll go and see you and really see Bahamas, Dubai,
Dubai
and
and
Pilipinas
Pilipinas.
in one area. That's
Yes,
pretty
Miss. It's
exciting.
of course. It's always a pleasure cheering you around.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
at least you can see the reality of being in a public school.
Yes, that's right. So, are there any difficult parts of your job? It seems like
Actually,
you're happy all the time, and I love your attitude. It seems like that you have great colleagues, great students, but are there any hard or challenging piece of your job?
yes, Miss A. I think the hardest, or shall I say, the most challenging part of my
Mhm.
job is when you know that there could be students at risk of dropping outs.
Oh,
During the
yes.
pandemic, I
Yeah.
had experienced a lot of situations like that,
Mm,
and it's very
sad.
difficult, to put back the motivation or the drive, particularly if they
Mhm,
are financially incapacitated, and if they
mhm,
are, losing the drive because they have to work. They have to work for their
mm,
families so that they can
mhm,
eat even just for a day. So
mm.
I feel very sad about that because that is what really happening in some of the public schools, siguro po not just in our school, but all over the
Mm,
world, all over the Philippines. So
mhm,
so what I try to do is, of course, I visit them.
mhm,
I coordinate with their subject teachers and know about the students. How can we
mhm.
help? How can we help that particular students?
Love
What
it.
are the considerations that we are going to do? Because you know
Mm,
what, Missy, I would like to share this with you when we visited a student,
mhm,
and he didn't pass any physical activities output.
mhm,
He
mhm,
didn't pass any. I think he's submitting nothing. So
mm.
we went there and we see their situation. My heart
Yeah.
melts. My heart melts.
Oh,
I think that is the most crucial part of being a teacher, because the sentiment sometimes could be come out of the blue. So we see the situation, their economic situation. You know what we did? We let the students dance. Kasi sabi ko sa kanya, even just to dance,
mm.
just show me how to dance or your physical activities. We went at the barangay hall.
Okay.
So we went near the barangay hall, and we
Mm.
allowed we allowed that student to dance. Sumabay na rin kami, sumabay na rin ako, just to feel the students that
Oh,
we are
nice.
one. We
Yeah,
are
yeah,
one.
yeah.
We are one with your problems. We are one with how to solve your problem. So,
Mm.
and that is I think the hardest part, seeing the students losing the drive to continue or to finish
Mm.
school is one of the heartbreaking situation as a teacher. And
Yeah.
aside from that, also, Miss A, is sometimes we see students who are very passionate of
Mhm.
coming into school, but most of them didn't take their breakfast.
Mhm.
They don't have the money for the fare. And just this morning,
Mhm.
Miss A, before this interview started,
Mhm.
I came to the school, and then I saw students who was cleaning the classroom. I knew that his schedule is in the afternoon, but
Mhm.
he went to school just to clean
Okay.
their classroom. And I asked the student, "Hey, have you eaten your breakfast?" Not
Mm.
yet, sir. So I gave him,
Oh.
money for him to take a breakfast. Because I believe, Miss A, if your stomach is empty, you
Mhm.
cannot function well. You
That's
cannot do
true.
tasks. So, you know,
Yeah.
um, before this interview, so yun ang nangyari. So I gave him money. Oh, go eat your breakfast and thank you for cleaning the room. We appreciate your effort of taking care of the school, of taking care of your classroom, so to speak with how we take care of you. So
Wow.
yun,
Teacher Mark, may God bless you and your family for helping students like this student that you just helped this morning. And yeah, may you continue to be a blessing to all your students. And I wish there's a badge of honor that I could give you right now for doing that wonderful thing to
thank you,
your
Miss A.
student. So thank you for
Yeah,
doing
thank you.
that.
You
Wow,
know,
that is very inspiring. We need more teachers like you who is not only passionate, not only very competent in terms of their work, but truly love and care for their students. So it's
thank
like
you, Miss A.
you're welcome. It's like even outside or inside the classroom, if you see a student who is struggling, you're there to support them. Yeah. So
Yes.
saludo ako sa iyo, Teacher Mark, for
Thank
doing
you, Miss
that.
A. I just pray that God will give me, good health so that I
Mhm.
continue what I am doing. That's the only
Yeah,
thing that I am praying for.
that's right. So for your students who may be watching this show right now or who will be watching the replay of this show, do you have any advice for them?
Actually, my advice to them is just do not think that success happens overnight.
Mhm.
Success, it's a process. It's a process. So you need to work hard. You need to surround yourself with the people who will support you, who will love you, who will take care of you. Success is it's a gratifying feeling if you have accomplished what you have accomplished, and make sure that if ever you become successful, do not forget to look back. Be grateful. Know where you started, because if you give it back to the people who helped you, there could be more blessings that will come along your way. So those are only the things that I would like them to learn, because actually, Miss, in education, it's all about understanding what you do not know
That's
and
right.
knowing what you don't understand.
That's
So
right.
if there is knowing and understanding, it could lead you to a place that where you wanted to be. But
Mm-hmm.
always make sure that your feet is always on the ground. Your
Oh,
feet
so
are always
beautiful.
underground. Be steadfast, be humble most of the time. Because who knows, there could be some people who will, outwit us, outsmart us. But if you really have a good heart and you leave a good mark to the people, to the community, that is where your success doesn't fade off.
Very, very beautiful words of advice to your students. And for anyone who may be interested in learning more about the life of a phys ed teacher and maybe just interested about everything else that you do, how can they get in touch with you, Teacher Mark?
Yes, you can visit my Facebook page, Mark Tejada. You can see my favorite. You can visit my Facebook page, Mark Tejada, or you can email me directly. So my email is markglenntejada5@gmail.com. So I repeat, it's markglenntejada5@gmail.com. And let's talk about life. Let's talk about how to become a physical education teacher, and how to become a teacher in heart and in mind.
Okay. Teacher Mark, I just want to make sure that, we got your email right here. Is it Mark Glenn with double N on the Glenn or single N?
Double N, ma'am.
Okay, wonderful. So double N. And then five as in the number five,
The
right?
number 5, yes.
Mark Glenn Tejada 5 at
Gmail.com.
gmail.com. Wonderful. Any last inspiring stories story that you would like to share to all our viewers?
Okay, Miss A. Actually, this happened just recently.
Okay.
I always thought that if you are going to engage yourself in a creative performance or in performing arts, I think you should come up with an authentic or original masterpiece. You know, we have here the Padaro Festival, and it's been running for almost 19 to 20 years.
Okay.
And during my master's thesis in Bicol University, I thought that I think it's time to step up or to level up the creativity or the arts in our hometown. That's why I researched on the dance and musical rendering of Padaro Festival. Because just to give you an overview, that our festival, the Padaro Festival, it's all about fishing, because that is the primary source of living here in Bulan, Sorsogon. However, Ms. A, the music and the dance are not original. These are taken from the YouTubes. These are taken from several festivals in the Philippines, and then try to mix it up to come up with a Padaro Festival. So I thought that Padaro Festival or a festival is an identity of a locality. So how can you come up with such an identity or a collective identity if you are just copying the works of others? So I research on the dance, how to make the dance and musical rendering. So my participants are the old folks so that they can give an idea how to fish, the actual fishing. I immersed myself in an actual fishing. And then when I submitted this to the Bicol University, I have been granted as the best paper for master thesis for the comprehensive analysis of the research. And then, 5 days after my defense, so I got into the research forum. I joined the competition. So it was the first time for the Bicol University Institute of Physical Education, Sports and Recreation to bag the best master's thesis for the graduate students, because they've been looking for a graduate student to at least get that award. And I was also the first outstanding graduate of the Bicol University IPESR. So and then when after that I submitted my output to the National Library of the Philippines, and fortunately it was copyrighted by the National Library of the Philippines. And after a month, that the local government of Bulan, the local government unit of Bulan, got interested with my output. So they initiated activities like a seminar workshop. I introduced the original music, and then they love it. I presented it to the committee, and now, Miss A, my study is now adapted by the local government unit of Bulan to be used by the future generation. And this will be the official festival, the official music and dance for the Padaro Festival. And guess what?
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Yes. I got paid. I got paid for my output. So I will no longer mention the price. So however, I got paid, or I got the incentives of creating such a beautiful masterpiece. Because Miss A, we have also to elevate arts, music,
for sure,
the dance to the next level. Because nowadays, students, or some of them are been used to looking for YouTube and then copy and then present. We are not teaching. They are losing the value of authenticity, the value of creating by themselves, the creativity. Because I believe that this generation, new generations, are very creative. They just have to be guided. They just have to be inspired about what's happening in the community. So if I started this kind of output, everything else follows.
That's
so that's it.
Teacher Mark, you know what? For all of our viewers who would want to continue to learn about the Padaro Festival and how they can, pick your brain when it comes to bringing out their creative juices, I think let's keep that so that they will be able to learn more from you. All right?
Yes,
oh my gosh. So congratulations in terms of that.
Thank you.
Can you believe, we've been talking for the last hour. So this has been such a wonderful conversation with you. I hope our viewers were able to learn more about becoming a physical education teacher. And more so, I hope that our viewers were able to learn about you. And a certain teacher, Mark Tejada, is really making a difference in the lives of our students in Sorsogon. So, Teacher Mark, thank you again. And to all of our viewers out there, we want to thank you for being with us. And again, if you want to get in touch with Teacher Mark, follow Teacher Mark on Facebook, and you can email him. With that, thank you, viewers. And again, Teacher Mark, thank you. Until next time.
Thank you, Miss A. Have a good day. Thank
You
you.
too. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.